This is Gabby Reese.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proof.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Jeffrey Reddick.
This is Slim Jim
This
Phantom.
is Nathan East.
This is Thomas McElroy.
This is J.R. Robinson.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is David Lab.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, I'm Mark Valley.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
I'm Laird Hamilton here for Take Every Wave, the life story of Laird Hamilton, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero, Mark Valley, and Pete A. Turner.
Laird Hamilton is a big wave surfer, and to say that by itself is to grossly oversimplify things. He's an innovator, an inventor, an adventurer, a true waterman, and a devoted husband and father. And man, I'm elated to have you on the show.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you. You met my co-host Pete.
Oh, yeah.
He came to your house.
Yep.
And I've been there too. And it's a great spot in Malibu. But you're here to promote this movie, which I watched last night, and it was amazing. First of all, I want to acknowledge Rory Kennedy, who directed the movie. She did a spectacular job.
And her husband, Mark, is an amazing writer. Yeah.
Wow. I also have some housekeeping to do. I want to acknowledge James Bradley, Dave West, Trevor Thorpe, Daryl Johnson, and Mike Dillon and Cole Milne, who all wanted to say hello and what
aloha
an influence you've had on them. Yeah. So mahalo from all of them.
Thank you.
What was it like being the subject of this movie?
Well, a lot of it was footage that had been shot already. So it was just historical stuff. And I did do, about 23 or 4 hours of interviews with Rory. And the fact that we were waiting for giant surf during a winter, the whole process took about a year and a half. So I've been involved in productions before. This one was in some ways effortless, but then in other ways a lot more personal.
Yeah, it was really personal. The movie talks about your life. It gives kind of good, bad, ugly.
Yep.
Relationships that you've had throughout your life.
Yep.
Your relationship with Gabby.
Yep.
And you were very candid.
Yeah, well, listen, I gave Rory and her team as much material as I could and let them be the storytellers. They storytell. That's what they do. And so I wasn't involved in the way the film was made. I just wanted to give them every opportunity they could have to make a film that had meaning and that had some impact, and that I try to tell people it's not a surf movie.
It's not. It's a movie about a human being. And
absolutely. A human.
Everything there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just happen to be a celebrated human being because you've done quite a few things nobody else has done. And quite a few things that involve a really courageous spirit and an amount of fearlessness that not many of us in the world are blessed with.
Or cursed.
Or cursed with. Well, that's the one thing that the movie really says was that, listen, first of all, everybody go see the movie. It's available right now.
It is, yeah. It's playing at theaters. The fact is, this is a documentary that doesn't have, we don't have a huge amount of money for advertising. We're just doing everything on...
kind of shoestring budget.
Yeah, well, just all social media and get out there and, speak on podcasts and the radios and just trying to, and word of mouth. We've had a lot of good reviews. people have appreciated the film. I think people are surprised by the film because of the human aspect of it. We've had a lot of people say, well, I don't want to go to a surf movie, and we're trying to just get people to realize that this isn't a surf movie.
One of the things that I really dug about the movie was, it started at the beginning, and you have achieved successes that everybody sees, but you paid for every one of those with things
something.
With some currency that not a whole lot of people can even relate to.
Yeah.
When we talked about you on our episode with Gabby, the way that she talks about you, of course, she's your wife, but it's more than the affection of a spouse. It's a respect of a person who is herself an ultra performer, but the way that she talks about you, and now having seen the movie, the things that you've been through. Growing up in Hawaii and being a towhead white boy.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a haole in Hawaii and you're in the thick of things, you're going to have a hard time.
You do.
And you took to the water to find really what was true and equitable in the world.
I had I've been working on a project, a book project, and the gentleman who's working on the book right now has done a lot of islander research on islanders and Polynesian and all the thing, and he said, and I never, because I don't equate myself that, because I don't have the blood, but he said, you have a Polynesian spirit, and so I would never be in a position where I'd say philosophically I have I have a lot of things, but I don't have Polynesian blood, but I think philosophically I have a Polynesian spirit when it comes to the philosophies to be a Polynesian.
I'm from Guam, and my cousin Jim is an island studies professor, and unlike the Hawaiian Islands, Guam has been really not written about much. So when he did his doctoral dissertation, his instructors were looking for reference material, and he was like, there's nothing for me to quote. I had to ask elders, and they had to sit and tell me stories, and many of them were very, very old and falling apart and happy to commit these stories to posterity.
Yeah.
There is truly a spirit that exists in not just island cultures, but every culture, where somebody who comes in from the outside and says, look, I respect it enough to say I'm from the outside, but sometimes that amount of, your ability to give that allows the roots to sink really, really deep. And I think that, when I went to your house, Gabby greeted me with aloha. And it was a warm, gentle, open, welcoming aloha. And here I am standing in Los Angeles, and she greets me with that, and she meant it.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Yeah. Well, she grew up on an island too.
Yeah.
Just the Caribbean.
Right. Other side of the country,
but
still an island. But I absolutely can see that, your island spirit, number one, it's not at all disrespectful, but it's completely genuine. It has to be.
Yeah.
Your roots truly are grown there.
That's true. Well, you can't fake it.
Yeah.
Because you can smell that insincerity. At least that's what I believe. I just think you don't. It's not something you just are it. I think, and if you're next to anything long enough, it's going to rub off on you. So you got to make sure you decide where you want to be.
Well, and for your formative years, there was you were there the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were.
Oh yeah, no.
An army brat and you bounced around and you ended up. You were there the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was steeping.
Deep there.
Yeah. I'm curious to know what happened to that piece of property that you and Buzzy built that.
Oh, it's still there.
Is it?
The trees are all giant, and
yeah,
somebody scored. The guy bought it, and everything grew up. All the vegetation.
Harvesting coconuts.
Yeah, well, and there's a bunch of other palms and exotic palms on that property. That they say about property, as long as you leave it better than when you found it, then you've done something good. Imagine if everybody who ever had land left it better than they found it. It'd be a good world.
No kidding. But that right there, that's the island spirit.
That's right.
And like you said, you can't fake that.
No.
What about the movie when you sat down and watched it for the first time? What about it made you go, ooh?
I mean, sometimes, obviously, some of the issues that I had with friends and stuff, I think that had an impact on me. I mean, seeing my mom, it's an emotional film for me to watch. I mean, I've told this to a few different people. I said, everybody's going to have their version of that film, but they're probably going to see it when they die. They're going to see their life flash by, in front of them. And, I just happen to be speeding up that. It seems
that
like
process.
Yeah, it seems like that happens a lot in my life.
Hopefully you got 50 more years and you'll see it a couple more times.
Exactly, the other part of it. But, you're going to see that. And when you look at your life, first of all, there's nothing you can change because it's your life. So it's not like you can go, hey, I'd like to do something different. I wouldn't do anything different, even though some of the times and some of the feelings were awkward. I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't want the chance to
change
not
the
be
trajectory.
Here. Yeah, I do. I wouldn't want to not be able to be here right now with Gabby, with my daughters, just where I'm at. So I would never want to change it. But listen, when you look at your life and it's on screen, It's an emotional process. That's an emotional, you see, people that that are passed away, my mom, you see your daughters and they're big, and you see you when you were a kid, and, you had relationships that were great at the time that aren't. You have some that you still have. I mean, it's just, it's an emotional, and then you see, things you did that are emotional. It's just, there's a lot of power in that.
Well, in my lifetime, I've been done wrong, and I've done people wrong, just like everybody else. And to hear you say, I wouldn't change any of it. I look back and I think, yeah, I probably could have been a little better at that. But you're right. There is a trajectory. There is a place now that we know. There is a wisdom that we possess from all of that stuff, even if you did it and it was fucked up.
That's right.
Like, man, well, that's right. I better own that.
Own it. And then, but where are you now and where are you going? That's more important, because that back, if you're looking back, that's just going to stop you from going the right direction forward.
Yeah, right. That's true. Forward. That's the other thing that this movie has painted a picture for us that we can take example from you from, is the going forward.
Going forward.
Yeah, because
that's what we're doing.
Your evolution as a surfer, I mean, you went from being a competitive surfer and figuring out that wasn't right for you.
No.
How does I'll just take a sidebar with our listeners. How does a guy who's a surfer for a living enter the competition circuit and go, no, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to carve my own path and do. It would be like if I was a baseball player and said, no, I'm not going to play Major League Baseball. I don't like the way they do that. I'm going to go play baseball by myself, do my own thing, have my own quest, and then still manage to have an impact on not just the sport, but the life in the water that you've had for so many of us.
Yeah.
That's really what's truly special that the movie pointed at, that I think everybody really ought to get that message.
Well, it's following your heart too, following your heart and not succumbing to peer pressure, not succumbing to that there's only one way to do something. I think one of the unique things that we have in surfing is that there is an artistic aspect to it that you can cultivate. I always say, well, how do you judge music? How do you judge food? I mean, I like one kind of food, you like another kind. It doesn't make mine bad, doesn't make yours worse. So I think that's that I'm fortunate in that I have that in my sport, that there's not only one way to do it. And I think that having an amazing mother, I think having a person that cultivated my imagination and really made me believe that all things were possible, that you could do anything you wanted to, as long as you were, abiding by some of the laws of the universe, which is, cause and effect and karma and all these other things, but that you could do it. And I think I'm still in the process of doing it. It's not over yet. So it's an ongoing thing. It wasn't like I did it and then it's all good now. It's still ongoing.
Yeah. Well, what you did in the world of surfing, specifically that you decided that competition wasn't right for you and that your quest was going to rule what you were going to do, you just went and attempted to find the biggest, baddest wave to conquer that you could. And what we ended up with was a completely different look at a sport that suddenly went from, really it was kind of like figure skating. Like a bunch of people are going to go around in circles and we're going to say what we think of them. And some people are going to hold up cards and somebody's going to be declared a winner. And you went past all that and said, no, I'm going to go someplace where nobody's ever done this, and I'm going to carve something in this wave that nobody else can go do. Yeah. That would be, so the baseball equivalent would be like, I'm going to do this by myself, but I'm going to set up a pitching machine, and I'm going to make it throw a ball at me 400 miles an hour. And I swear to God, I'm going to crush this ball, and I'm going to stand in this batter's box until I do, because that's really what you did. Going after a 100-foot wave is the equivalent. What's guiding your thought process to say, well, there's a purse full of money over here that I can go get, and I got bills to pay and stuff to get and toys to buy or whatever? What makes you go, no, not that?
Again, I think it's your heart. And listen, I've been around the pursuit of money. We all need to pay bills and earn a living, and we do it all any way we can to subsidize our passion. But what do you do to make you feel fulfilled? Like, what's going to fulfill you? Is a big bank account going to fulfill you? I don't think so. I've seen it it didn't work. I watched people get big bank accounts and they didn't look too fulfilled. And so I've tried to go after the thing that was going to bring me this feeling of accomplishment. And then whether I did it, the multiple reasons why that drove me there. Once I think I got on the track of it, it was really out of what it brought at the end. It's what it's brought to me. It's brought me a feeling of accomplishment. And I don't necessarily need to use other people's success or failure as a reference for mine. I just go after me feeling like I did something that I've accomplished and not necessarily in relationship to what other people are or aren't.
Yeah, I don't get the feeling you give a shit about impressing anybody at all. I mean, everybody wants their family to enjoy their presence and all that stuff. But aside from that, you're trying to impress no one.
Just the most important person, myself.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds like the answer that somebody has in their heart from really enduring a lot of getting their ass kicked at school all their young life. How about your relationships now with the guys who are now, because how old are you?
53.
53. So I'm reminded, because you said you're 53, my friend Tony Espinoza, also 53, he said, hey, when you see Laird, tell him I really love North Shore. And boy, was he great at being a dick.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came natural.
You know, when we're young and in our formative years, we develop our toolbox. We don't know when those tools are going to come in handy.
We don't. We have no idea.
Hopefully they do.
Yeah, we
Yours
do.
found a place.
I mean, you hate to have a tool that you just don't use.
Yeah, right. Now that you're at a point in your life, and the film touches on this a little bit, you're at a point in your life where, oh, Jesus, man, you're in as great a shape as any 53-year-old I've ever met. But you're still in a 53-year-old body, and the deterioration that begins to happen, especially because you're an extreme athlete. So you've put some wear and tear, you put some miles on that body. Where do you think you're going now with, knowing what's ahead of you? Shit, I hate to ask this question because the type of the shape that you're in is ridiculous. I mean, I've seen, like I said, I was at your house. I saw the weights by the pool. I've seen the ridiculous exercises that you guys do. First of all, let me ask, how well do you think you're doing at fighting off body deterioration?
Well, I think I've accepted. Listen, I had so many injuries at such a young age, and I think I've just accepted that you're always going to be hurt. You're just being hurt is being part about being alive, and especially if you're using the vehicle is going to have damage, and how well you operate with the damage and the injury. That's really what separates you from other people. Not if you're 100%, but it's how well you operate hurt. Because you're always going to be hurt. There's no such thing.
It's easy to do it at 100%.
You're never going to be 100%. You were 100% before you're born, and then as soon as you breathed one breath of this air on Earth, that's where it was downhill from then on.
Clock started ticking.
Yeah, it started. And so, in a way, I think it's how well you operate wounded. How well you operate being hurt. And listen, I don't want the thing to be too preserved when I'm done with it. It's like I want to make sure I use this thing up, and I want to get the thing. I want to use it up. I want to when I'm done, I want to be used up. I want to be like, okay, there's nothing left in that. Nothing to recycle. There's nothing left of it. We wore it out completely out, and the fact is, I got a new hip right now that's amazing. It's like bionic, and I have my training sophisticated. I take a lot better care of myself now than I ever have. The best I can. I have better relationships with all my friends, with my family. I mean, I just feel more balanced than I've ever been, and so in a way, I think the psychology of things play into your performances so much that I think we undervalue sometimes. We overvalue the physicality of things, and we undervalue the emotional stability and wellness of things. And so I think it's like I'm in a good state, and right now I can perform at a level that is bringing me enough feeling of accomplishment. I'm not worried about it right now. And at the end, maybe in 10 more years or 20 more years, we're just going to have some more bionics. There's going to be some vehicle that overrides your lack of physicality or whatever it is. And unfortunately, I'm not having to run against 20-year-olds on a track or something like that. But I think part of it's been a plan. It's been a plan to try not to allow myself to be subjected to social stigmas and other forms of measurement that puts you in a place where you got to go and sit down and say, okay, I'm done. It's like, I don't want to. So in a way, I think that's something that we have to be cautious of in our life, that we don't subject ourselves to losing control of our abilities to continue to feel what we need to feel by what we're doing. Whether it's, it's like if you give it to the other people and then you let them tell you, hey, now you're done, then don't be surprised if you're miserable. Like, you got to take your happiness and own it and be like, hey, I'm in control of it. This is mine, and I can do what I need to do to keep it and keep having it. And if, and listen, we all go through days. But in the majority of the time, you need to control that stuff. You need to own it. It needs to be yours, and don't just give it out to somebody, because people aren't going to protect your happiness for you. Are you kidding? They're just going to put it on the floor and stomp on it, and then you're going to be like laying there going, wow, how'd that happen?
It's easy to go, man, Laird Hamilton, what a special guy, what a special life, what a special ability. But really, what your life boils down to, if I may be so bold as to say, here's the one contribution among the, we are and we will talk about the 50 or 60 contributions of sport, but the one contribution to humanity that I think that you've done better than anything else is exactly that, is to show us that, look, man, just buckle down and find it and be you and do your thing.
For sure.
And because
there's only one of you.
There's
only one of you.
None of the accomplishments that, when they make your list, that you've surfed these waves and that you've conquered these things and that you've invented this stuff and that we have you to thank for this and this and the foil and what we really have for you to thank, if we're smart, is that we can look and apply what you've done in your life was all started with, I don't care what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this because it makes me happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that for me, if there's any reason why I have done what I've done and I'm here right now, it's for that. It's just, and that's why I think that's why we, that's the whole idea behind the film. The film is, and that's why I think Rory, my original intention to make the film was about, showing what we're doing in our evolution as surfers. That's why I wanted to make a film about that, right? But
I did.
No, because first of all, I didn't have Rory. We didn't know who was going to direct the film and what, and then once she got involved, she was like, yeah, no, this is the story I want to tell. And I'm like, okay, well, you tell whatever story you think will have the biggest impact. And so this film is that. That's what she, after looking at what I do and what I've done, she felt like the message behind that. Because normally she does films, that have, that are about, other more, socially conscious stuff. She does it about, the last days in Vietnam or these other bigger social issues that, and so she wasn't going to make a surf movie. This isn't like, that wasn't her intention. So.
Yeah, she's a little more interested in the human complications.
Absolutely.
But
only.
Here she is.
Well, being a Kennedy, I think you have a tendency to do that.
Well, and yes, let's understand that she came to this story. First of all, how did she get involved?
Well, I have a friend of mine, a guy that wanted to make the film. He goes, hey, you want to make a film? Let's organize making a film.
Who was that?
Paul Speaker.
And
he, we were looking for somebody to direct the film.
Yeah.
And then he
was
said,
he trying to make a surf movie too?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he was, because he wanted her to direct it. So
see.
he just, the fact is that I really wanted to work with somebody who wasn't going to make a surf film. I wanted to work with somebody, having a woman, an East Coast woman, and having her perspective and look at the story, I think is what makes the movie what it is. I think is because we have a woman's perspective and an East Coast woman that's not about surfing, and so it becomes
just different.
That's right.
Maybe not specifically East Coast, but certainly different from you.
Yeah, different from me, contrasting me, and so in a way, I think that gives it that opportunity. And Paul saw that from the beginning, because when we first presented it to Rory, she was like, well, I don't know if I want
movies about big issues.
I make a movie about issues. Period. And so she felt like, it wasn't, I think, after he had a conversation with her and then she looked at my story, then I think that changed everything. I think she thought, oh, okay, now I see that there's something here. And then it evolved from there. Because once she made a decision to do that, then all the archival footage that came out and all of the, and then again, all these interviews. And then, obviously, as you spoke earlier, Gabby's willingness and my willingness to be somewhat full disclosure, I would describe it. I mean, again, it's a 2-hour story, and what are you going to put in there? And she's got to, they had the burden of telling a story from existing footage. So it's kind of a reverse thing. You don't write a script and then shoot a movie around the script. This is that you get the film movie and then you write a script around it. Yeah. And so Rory's husband, Mark, who's an incredible writer, the combination of their teamwork, and they're similar in a way to Gabby, that they work together, and which is it's a unique dynamic when you have a couple that works together. So that's what makes it. This thing is what it is because it has a mind of its own. It has a life. It's having a life of its own, and it has an impact on people that just don't even. They never even surfed. Some people have never even seen surfing.
Yeah,
and it has an impact on them. So, if that's all we did, then we've done a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. When I watch the movie, you can't forget it's about surfing because it's got surfing through and through. But you
and they got big
can
waves.
Relate.
Yeah.
I want to mention our sponsor, WeFixYourScript.com. WeFixYourScript.com is a collection of independent filmmakers who will look at your script and tell you what you've got and give you an honest opinion and punch it up and help you find those elements within the characters of your story that relate to the human spirit, that ignite our passions as viewers. WeFixYourScript.com is led by Jeffrey Calhoun. He'll give you a 15-minute consultation for free. So if you have a script, you want him to take a look at it. If you have really wherever in the process your script is, if you want some guidance, go to Jeff. He'll give you 15 minutes for free. Go to WeFixYourScript.com, and Jeff will take care of you there. And we don't just love that they're a sponsor because they're a sponsor. We love what they're doing for the creative community.
Amazing.
They're helping people to get
out there,
get their
stories.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of amazing stories out there that don't have an opportunity to get seen or heard or watched because some of it's just because they're not an expert at doing it.
Yeah, right. And somebody out there is, as you are a surfer, maybe they're a chess player or
Absolutely.
They do whatever it is they do.
Whatever it is.
And they're following their true passion, and they've found it, or they've found what they're searching for.
My mom used to tell me, I don't care if you're the street sweeper, but take pride in it and sweep it meticulously.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
You can do it. And you can do it. At the end, do the best you can do. Because at the end, you'll never, ever feel unsatisfied when you do something to its completeness, when you do it to its fullness. That'll always bring you a feeling of accomplishment, no matter if the simplest chore. I mean, it's the whole reason why, making your bed's important in the morning, so you get that task completion. We need that. Humans need that feeling of completing a task. It's very satisfying it's part of our, makeup. We need
it's how we're wired.
Yeah, that's how we're wired.
We've been talking a lot about how human beings are wired on this show recently. I'm not sure why, but it sort of started with Gabby's episode we did when we were at your house. It was about 2 months ago.
Yep.
And since then, we've just had
more and more of it.
One person after another.
Maybe AI is bringing that on.
I think so, man. I think our internal AI is causing us to pull it out of people, because we had last week Sebastian Youre was on the show, and boy, that guy is all about how people are wired.
For sure.
And was talking about the same things.
I think sometimes we try to think that we're more complex than we are, and that we really, when you look at us, the simplicity of how we are has been around a long, long time.
Man, I'll tell you, this is a really satisfying conversation for me, because when I usually put the headphones on somebody, I think, okay, I'm going to try to walk them through a sequence of, where we're trying to go.
Absolutely.
And then at the end, I hope that they can land the big punch.
Yeah.
The
hook,
big 12th round right hook. You came out swinging.
Okay, good. We'll keep going.
We could have ended this show like 6 times. So do you still have a relationship with Bill?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty limited. I have a pretty limited relationship with Bill, and it's a little. And I get because I've gotten this question asked quite a bit during this process, and where he's like my older brother.
Okay.
And so, and it's a little bit like you're the older brother, and you got the younger brother, and the younger brother is really successful in your eyes in a thing that he pursued. And so has a little bit of, and listen, I have kids and a wife and all this stuff I'm trying to do, and the sports I'm pursuing and keeping. And
you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I have a lot going on, and I don't mean that I don't have time, but it's like, like in every relationship that I have, people have to participate.
Yep.
So you have to, like I throw you the ball, you throw it back, I throw it to you, and then pretty soon we're throwing the ball and catching it, and it's fun.
Right.
And so, but it's difficult for me to get him to throw the ball back. So I create an opportunity, and I have to not take it personally. I just have to remember sometimes in life that you have people that you love and you care about, but part of what you have to do in that in the relationship is you have to just you have to let them. They
participate how they know
how they can and what they do, and not take it personal, and not put it, and not trying to put it on them and be like, hey, why are you not, and or whatever. That I think, and that's my perspective. If you asked him, he might say, well, because it's all these other things. But like I said, I'm around, I'm there, I'm always available to him, and I reach out. I reach out enough so that when I don't get anything back after a while, I get discouraged.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm curious about a couple of things that are a lot less deep. So I'm going to go to the superficial.
No problem.
Where does your brother live?
My brother where is he now? He's traveling. He's in an airplane right now.
Oh, okay.
He's just been flying all over, but he's been on Kauai most of our life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And
he went to Europe last year, and then he came and stayed with me in California, and right now he's in, I don't know where he's in. He might be in the Philippines or in Asia.
But he's
something.
A free spirit too.
Yeah.
He's
Well, now he is. He
thing.
discovered traveling late, so he never left Hawaii until he didn't leave Hawaii until he was almost 40 or something. And then when he did,
that was it. It was on.
That was it. Like he went to Europe for one trip, and then since then he's been completely. And I was more like I think he was his first trip to Europe was when he was like 43 or 45.
Wow.
So he went to Europe at 45, and I think it just opened his mind up in a way that was pretty great to see, because he's just blossomed into, now he's like, I'm only gonna
It's wildly interesting.
Yeah, like the world. And he's amazed by it, which sometimes at that age you'd already be kind of tainted. You would have traveled a little bit and like, hey, where I am's the best and I don't want to go anywhere kind of thing.
Yeah,
he's not.
He's just getting started,
just warming up, which is, I think that's kind of almost better sometimes. It's like people that learn how to surf when they're older, they're stoked. They're like 60 and they're just, instead of, a guy that's been surfing since they're a kid, when they're 60, they're over it. They're like,
different appreciation.
Yeah. So he's got that youthful enthusiasm going right now.
I've raised baseball players, and my son, who is 20, who came with me to your house, he just recently stopped playing baseball, and I have to come to terms with it, because I'm like, wow, what am I, because our family social activities were all built around that. I can't even watch baseball on TV now, because I'm just, I don't know, I have to kind of push away from it.
Yeah.
But he's taking up golf, and
you're swinging. You're still swinging,
and deep into it.
You're swinging good.
Yeah. So, sometimes we find things at different points in our life, and we have to sort of have our ears open for the bell.
Yeah. You do. I think it's a problem when we get too caught up in safety. We're too safe. We want to be too safe. I do this. This is what I am. We're looking for an identity. We just stay like in our little tribe, and we're like, we don't want to go outside of that because it's predictable and it has all these things that we need. I think that's the biggest trap that we have. I think that the sooner you can just go out and go try stuff and be a beginner, it's just when the world opens up. Little kids don't, get in a little puddle and say, hey, we're this and we're that. Adults force that on them, but they want to try everything and do everything. And I think we need to, I think that's I think that's one of the keys to the Fountain of Youth is retaining your youthful enthusiasm, being excited and interested. I mean, when you stop being excited and interested, go lay down already. It's over, finished.
Yeah.
Lay it down, park it, throw the keys away.
Wow. How about Terry? I was really intrigued by Terry as a character.
Amazing.
In the film too.
Amazing.
I mean, he's older. He's older than you are.
He is. Yeah.
And he's all about it.
He's a stud too.
Wow.
Yeah, he and there's those rare exceptions, those guys that are able to just keep that drive going and keep because the sincerity of it. Like when somebody has that kind of drive after those many years and that much time, you just it's real. It's not just something. It's not just a thing. It's part of the DNA. And he's a waterman. He's a fisherman, a sailor, a surfer. I mean, he reeks of the Polynesian spirit.
Yeah. How old is he?
Terry now he's 10. He's got me on 10 years on me.
So he's in his 60s.
Yeah. 62.
And for our listeners, he will whoop your ass.
He will.
Practically whatever you want. Challenge him at whatever. I'm confident.
We call him the stainless steel cable. He's like a stainless steel cable.
Yeah. He will not be stopped.
He will not.
Wow. There were plenty of intriguing characters in the movie. I wanted to bring him up because he, I don't know why he struck a chord with me. I just kind of dug watching the two of you, continue on together and do all the stuff that you need to fulfill you.
Yeah.
And I think our listeners are going to relate to this when they see the movie. They're going to go, I want to be that guy when I'm whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, you're going to, when you look at the character in a movie, who just happens to be a real life guy.
Yeah.
You look at a character in a movie and go, that's the guy I identify with. That's the guy I want to be. They're going to see 10 of that in this movie.
Yeah. It's true.
Male, female, young, old, whatever.
Yeah.
So what's next? What else are you working on? You got a bunch of food.
I do. I have a bunch of companies I'm working on, businesses. So I have a bunch of different projects. One of them's XPT, which is this exploration and performance training kind of lifestyle health and wellness program that we started, and where we take people through a 3-day exposure to our lifestyle and our training. And then we're trying to develop that into a bigger program so we can have people that actually can train it to other, to bring it up to a bigger scale so you can have trainers that can implement that. I have a superfood line. So I have.
Well, let's go back to the fitness thing. I want to talk about the superfood line in a second, but I just want to, again, take a sidebar with our listeners. So I've been to this guy's house. Let me tell you something about this. The weights and the pool are in the fucking front yard. Okay? So this is no bullshit. This isn't like a sequestered. This is every day, every moment, this is where your kids play. This is where your life happens.
That's right.
Right in front of your house is where the pool and the weights and the truth barrel and the ice bath and all of that shit is right. It's inescapable.
Right. That's right.
In a house in Malibu where you could put anything anywhere.
Yeah.
This shit is front and center.
That's right.
So if you're curious.
There's no avoiding it.
Yeah. If you're curious, if you don't know a whole lot about Laird Hamilton, and if you don't know a lot about Gabby Reese, do your research, folks, especially if you're a lot of our listeners are, our age. They're parents, they have kids, they're battling the aging process and all of that shit. If you guys aren't familiar with Laird and Gabby, the thing that you ought to do if you're looking at lifestyle stuff is realize that they're not preaching it. They're doing it, and they do it every day, and they do it every minute. And sometimes it's clumsy, and sometimes it's by your own admission and Gabby.
For sure.
Everybody's just trying to figure it out.
For sure. Ongoing.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
And as a person who sort of had you in my periphery, there are a lot of us out there who go, oh, yeah, they're the great couple who...
Yeah.
You guys are human beings. You've had trouble. You've conquered bad times. You've had great times. I'm guilty of thinking that, well, Laird Hamilton was naturally gifted as a surfer, and he's had a great life that's been just, you have an amazing life and 2 places that you travel back and forth from.
Yep.
That's all enviable.
Yeah.
But what the movie tells us and what getting to know you and Gabby has told me is that, fuck, you've paid the cost, man. This is you figured it out.
Yeah.
But it's not like you figured it out when you were 20 and you've coasted ever since.
Yeah, no.
Every minute of every year has been about growth and progress and what's next.
Yeah.
So
and still going.
And still going.
Yeah. And goes and it's going to keep going until it doesn't go anymore, and then we're not going to have to worry about it.
And so that's the example, you guys. It's not the perfect physique
There's
in
no
the
such
perfect
thing.
sport, in the perfect marriage, in the perfect life.
Yeah.
It's the perfect pursuit of doing it.
That's right.
Superfood.
Yeah.
Let's promote all the shit.
Yeah,
what else
yeah.
you want to throw out on the table?
I mean, I think this at this point, and Gabby and I talked about, after trying to be sponsored and doing anything we could to supplement the income, you tried to. One of the things is to do these businesses, because it's kind of like, I said I was sponsored by a clothing company for years. I should do my own clothing, and be my own sponsor. So, I got a clothing project. I got a board, stand-up paddling equipment. I got the superfood, Laird Superfood, which is all this coffee supplementation that we've designed around kind of making coffee healthier for you, but then also using it more like a sports drink, like for energy, and because coffee is such a great energy source. So, and I have a bunch of
coffee.
What's that?
Because you fed Pete the coffee.
Yeah.
And he hasn't stopped talking about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a bunch of different creamers and that affect the way you absorb the caffeine. And there's some great, there's a mushroom blend. We have a new hydration blend. So the Laird Superfoods, that's a pretty amazing project. And then
follow Laird and Gabby on Twitter.
Yeah.
They're easy to find.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle?
I don't know,
it's Laird
something.
Hamilton. Look up Laird Hamilton.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah.
You'll know when you get there. Also, I know Gabby tweets about it too. So if you're looking for the stuff, because I was just about to ask, where do I find this shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we're
pay
in
attention to the
Thrive.
links.
We're in Thrive markets, but online's the best. I mean, and Amazon you can get it in 2 days. But we have incredible products that we've been working on, and we're coming out with new ones all the time. So we have a turmeric creamer and a cacao creamer and all these other that are totally, the labor. It's full disclosure on the ingredients. It's all whole food ingredients. Philosophically, all of these projects, anything we get involved with follows some of our philosophies, which, there's just certain things that we're not going to compromise, and we haven't in our career, and it's cost us, at times it's cost us money to hold a line and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to promote something that's not healthy for you. I'm not going to promote something I don't believe in. I'm not going to promote something I don't authentically use.
I'm positive you guys have had the opportunity to promote all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's not, but it's not true to us, and so that's a big part of, I think that's one of the things that intuitively people can sense when we do support something, that we genuinely believe in it and use it. And that changes a little bit. You can't, it's like, you can't be pigeonholed of this is the only way and this is the only thing to eat and drink, because that changes every week. And, first it's good for you and then it's not good for you. I mean, we're learning too, so we always, I always throw the disclaimer like, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we know to be, we're using this genuinely. We think this is good for you. And then until it's not, it is. And that's what we do. But we're trying to always learn too. And I think we're trying to, work on being a source of information so people don't have to vet every single thing. They can kind of go, hey, if you get some, if you go after the stuff that they're going after, then they've done a lot of the vetting for you, because not everybody has the time or the freedom. And part of what we've made our job is to do that, to vet this stuff, to be able to go, hey, yeah, probably not so good. Oh, that's great. I mean, just to, and we're not self-appointed authority, but we're just using it from our own experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that you've made it a job to do that. You've just made it a job to capture that you're doing it.
Yeah,
because you're doing it.
Exactly.
I mean, again, everything's in
we're
the front
doing
yard,
we're doing
so to speak.
Yeah, we're doing it.
So it's just a matter of saying, well, I found that out. I'm going to write it down so everybody can know.
Yeah, and I think that's how we learn. I mean, people have done that for me in my life, and I'm happy when they do, and I hopefully I can do it back.
Okay. The superficial questions. What'd you have for breakfast?
No breakfast today. I don't usually. I usually only eat once or twice a day. But in the morning, I have a bunch of coffee and my creamer, my and then raw butter and and I have coconut in my creamer and red palm and some other minerals and but real good healthy fats and caffeine. That's
your breakfast.
Yeah,
Healthy
I
fats
could
and
run
caffeine.
for 10 hours on that.
Wow.
I could literally run for a day on that stuff and then just drink water or something. And then I try to eat, I used to eat a lot more than I do now. I've been trying to cut down on the volume, not the volume, but just the amount of meals. So I usually just eat once or twice a day. So either, usually a lunch and a dinner.
You drink enough water?
I drink a lot of water. Okay. Probably not enough.
Yeah.
But I drink a lot. I have a great hydration product that I've been using because I've been doing a sauna protocol the last a month or so. That's 1 hour twice a day straight.
Okay.
So you stay in the sauna for 1 hour straight and do that twice a day. Yeah, and I've done that for almost a month. And your hormones get boosted by some ridiculous amount, but you have to be really well hydrated. So through Himalayan salt and then I have a hydration product which is a powdered coconut water with this other calcified sea algae that gives you all the minerals. And so I've been able to kind of if you're doing 2 hours of sauna every day, if you're dehydrated, you'd be getting muscle cramps and headaches and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, for sure, because you're
depleting.
Depleting. Yeah. How about sleep? How you sleeping?
I normally sleep phenomenal. In fact, Gabby and I were just on Dr. Oz talking about this new sleep measuring device that they have that actually will tell you the quality of your sleep. How much sleep, how much REM, when you woke up, how many times you woke up, and then if the environment in your room, like what to change to make your sleep better. But I normally sleep phenomenal, but lately I've been the kind of how would I say, helping my 9-year-old, the daughter who's needs me there. So she's like, I get kicked by her. What's happening? So I got a 9-year-old that's elbowing me and kicking me all night. So it's dampered my REM a little bit. My REM's been kind of cut into a little bit. But normally I'd like to go to bed at 9 o'clock and be up at 5 or 6.
So I want to tell a story about your 9-year-old. We got to your house. We were waiting for Gabby to get there, and the girls were there. She comes running out with one of the neighbor kids, and they're playing around the pool. So they grab their scooters, and they're doing laps around the pool, and she's just zooming, and everybody's having fun. And the hose into the pool for the thing swimming around the pool, she runs into the hose, and she spills off of the scooter. And, it was a spill, dude. We were like, oh, she looked like she bit it pretty hard. She just smacked, and then she was up in an instant. I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
And kept going.
That's Brody.
And we were like, first of all,
what was that?
Without even anybody checking to see if she was good, she just got up and announced, probably more to herself than anybody else, she was good and kept going. And we thought, I bet you her dad is Laird Hamilton.
That's not normal. Yeah, she's got a threshold. She's got a pain threshold. It's hard to because let's just put it that way. She's tough. She's a tough one. They're all pretty tough. All these girls
that makes her dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know where.
It's good to know consequences. Like I fall down, I get hurt. Be careful. This is like I fall down, I'm not hurt. I keep going, I go faster.
Right.
I fall down harder, I'm not hurt.
Precisely what she did too. She got up and went faster.
Yeah. That's her move, though. I know. As soon as you said that, I go, yeah, Brody. Yeah. I'm good. Like she'll just and usually, the worse they are, the more the I'm good is pronounced. Like so.
The stronger the denial.
Yeah, I'm good.
And she had a friend there. I think his name was Oliver. He just stood there and he watched it happen. You could tell that he was no stranger to seeing this happen.
Yeah, no.
She just kept going, and he was like, "Yeah,
that's what she does."
Yeah. So, where do you get your hair cut?
Oh, I had somebody cut my hair the other day. Yeah. I usually don't get it. I get my hair.
Do you care?
I don't. I don't, except if I have to. Listen, honestly, when I go get my hair cut, and this is the truth, I'll go and I just say, hey, I don't. They go, well, how do you want it? I go, I really don't care. Just don't piss my wife off.
That is great because when I go get my hair, okay. Well, the difference is, probably where I get my hair cut and where you get your hair cut, somebody's sensitivities are a little different. But my response is usually that.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, you're the pro.
Yeah.
I just make it. Yeah, just make it when I walk out of here that your peers aren't going to talk about.
Yeah.
you.
Well, and the thing about my hair that I hate is I comb it. All I do is when it's wet, I comb it back, and it looks like I've put time into it, So, and then people are like, somebody will say something about my hair, and I go like, you don't even go there, It's like,
all right. If there's something annoying about Laird Hamilton that I've figured out, it can't be the physique because he works hard at it. It can't be the great financial success because he's paid for that every bit. It can't be the success in surfing because he's put in the years, the time, the heartache, your ankle's demolished, all of those things. Here's the thing to get annoyed about fucking Laird Hamilton. He's got great hair and he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't put one iota of thought or time or anything, and he's got great hair. I bet you didn't think that hair was all that great when you were a little kid and it was blonde.
It was the wrong color. It was the wrong color, but I couldn't
look
change
at you
it.
now.
I couldn't change it. Well, you can always shave it, but yeah, look at you.
That wasn't
exactly.
going to hide
Actually,
anything, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I get some lady in Beverly Hills going, "Hey, I love that blonde. Where do you
What
get that
product
done?
are you-"
What product?" I'm like, "Have you ever heard of El Pacifico?"
Yeah.
She's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "The ocean."
A lot of time in the ocean.
Exactly.
Well, the other thing
now
that happened,
I've got the chlorine look or the pool look. That's why my hair's orange, though.
you spend a lot of time in the pool.
Well, all summer.
Yeah.
So before the season starts, we're in the pool like at least 4 days a week, and so you get a little. And my pool doesn't really have chlorine; it's salt, but it still makes your hair orange.
I see. What exactly is the season?
The season is the winter, so
Okay.
starts in September, October, and goes all the way through till March, April.
We're in your season now. You're interrupting your season to
Yeah,
promote this film.
I am. Yeah. Well, no, we normally we go back mid-October, so I leave in a week.
Okay.
I leave in a week back to the islands to start the season, and they've already had a couple swells, but it's just in the beginning. The heart of the winter really is December and January, but
That's when the action happens.
It's going to be November, December, January, February. That's going to be those 3 or 4 months are going to be that's the big boys.
Wow.
Or chanced for the big boys.
And so we're rounding third base here, but I don't want to neglect the activity of foiling.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, that changes everything.
It changes it all.
It just allows you the ability to begin riding a wave sooner, ride it much longer, ride it unimpeded by
surface
friction.
texture and also the texture. You don't have to be affected so much by the conditions that normally affect you, and so you're not. It's just more, and it's a lot faster. The speed, it's about 20% faster than a conventional board, so which is substantial. Like if 20% is like the difference between 100 miles an hour and 120. It's big. It's a big difference.
Wow, that is a big difference.
Big difference.
What about maneuverability? Do you sacrifice a little bit because of the speed?
The maneuver. Well, because you have so much speed, you have to learn how to project and keep your speed up. You can easily just fly off into the flats and lose all the energy. So you kind of have to recalibrate the way you use the energy, which as a surfer is the interesting part. Because it's like learning again, so it opens up that whole opportunity to continue to evolve, and and as a surfer, that's the fun part. That's why we don't have to rely on always having a bigger and bigger wave. We can do things that adjust our perspective and make us get the same kind of the same feeling and sensation that a bigger and bigger wave would bring us.
There we go. Yeah, it just opens up that opportunity in a lot more places.
It does.
What is Laird Hamilton doing 10 years from now?
I think I'm continuing to pursue these things. I'm if I'm not in a pile in the corner from parenting,
That's what's going to conquer Laird
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
I'm just beaten down by his daughters, but yeah, no, I think just the it'll be interesting to see. I think more of what I've been doing, continuing, and then there's always a new stuff, and so I think it's just the truth is the exciting part is that in 10 years I really have no idea. I just know that there's a lot of directions to go in.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, there's a lot to love about what you've given us in
Yeah.
the pursuit of what's been important to you. We all, I think, should take example, and many of us do. And thanks, man. I
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.